Since this episode is all about followers, we've got to talk about LO Sister Conference. So if you have not gotten your tickets, go ahead and get them now, and you can use code FOLLOWERS for $15 off at losisterconference.com. What's up, friends, and welcome back to the LO Sister Podcast. I'm Elizabeth, and I'm here with my friends Lydia and Bella.
Hey.
Okay, Bella, you just got back from Italy, so I want you to share some of the highlights with us.
Oh, there's so many. It just was the best trip ever. I love Italy. I love anywhere in Europe. I'm such
I've never been.
Europe-obsessed person. I could live in Europe if my husband would want to.
Yeah.
I would live there 100%. I love it. I love Europe. I love it all. So we had the best time. It was really fun. My parents, lived there when they were early married for 3 months. And so that's where they named me Bella, because they were there, and everyone would always tell my mom ciao Bella.
That's so
which means
sweet.
Hi beautiful in Italian. So
I love that.
That's why they named me Bella, and we've always heard all the stories about them being there and their time there and all the places that they went and things that they saw. So they literally took us on a tour of everything that they did while they were there. We went and saw the house that they lived at.
What?
And
so
met
sweet.
their teachers that were there when they were there, because they did a abroad program, and so their teacher who still lives there, and we met him, which is really cool.
This gives me Mamma Mia vibes.
I
don't
love
know
Mamma
why.
Mia.
I
It's my
you just
favorite
going
movie
on
the
the
planet.
whole tour of their past.
Yes, it was so fun.
Wow.
And then they took us all through Florence, which is where they lived, and so we spent 4 days there, just exploring all the places that they went to, which was so fun. And my mom has pictures of them in each spot, so we did pictures in every spot that they took pictures. That we did. We didn't reenact, but we did pictures just at the same places, which was really fun.
Really
and
sweet.
Just getting to see the stories that we've heard about our whole lives. Just
That is so sweet. And
And
the
life
origin
was
of your
crazy.
name. Wow.
I know. It was funny because the whole time we were there, everyone would be I would be I'm Bella, and they would be oh, Bella. And I was
Wait,
yeah,
I
actually,
love that.
Bella.
Yeah, actually,
It literally is.
Yeah, literally Italian Bella. Yep.
Aw.
I
So,
love
it's
that.
fun. Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
It's
I know it's probably hard to pick a favorite.
so hard.
Did y'all
all
go-
the museums. Uffizi Gardens is one of the famous
Wow.
places to go there. And seriously, every wall, every ceiling, every light fixture, everything was just so beautiful and gorgeous.
It looks
Which-
so gorgeous.
That's what I'm going back next month. I'm actually studying in England
Oh, that's awesome.
for a post-grad art history and art museums and stuff. And so it was really cool because we got to go see some of the hugely famous ones there. And all of my siblings were dying. They were no more museums. And me and my mom were more museums.
yeah.
And we were loving it.
That's
So
amazing.
it was really
That's
fun.
amazing. Wait, so when you go next month, are you going there to stay?
Each class just lasts a week, and you can study different things. So it's
Whoa.
just post-grad. It doesn't count towards anything besides just it's on your
Yeah.
resume and you get to learn. So I'm going to grad school in the fall at Liberty
Awesome.
University.
Oh,
I
that's
did
awesome.
know that.
So
Lydia was in the loop there.
I did know that.
So I'm just doing this to kind of study before I go there, just for fun.
Wow.
So
That is so fun.
I'm
Is Jacob
excited.
going with you?
he's not.
Whoa. So
No.
this is you're doing this on your own.
Well, okay, I signed up to go on my own, and I was going on my own and everything, and then my mom couldn't take it, and so she signed up for the class too, so
Oh,
she's taking
what?
the class with me.
Wait, that's really
so
awesome.
fun.
But she loves that kind of stuff, and so do I,
Yeah.
so it worked out perfect, because that's just so up her alley. And she was oh, Bella, that sounds like a dream, that sounds so fun. She kept
That's
saying
so
that, and then
sweet.
finally I was well, if you want to go,
Just
go.
come
And she
on,
was
Yeah.
actually I may, and so she just signed up. So we're both going together.
I
It was so
literally
fun.
love that.
That's
Okay, wait.
awesome.
Did you go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa while you were
No,
there?
I didn't.
Wow.
That was one thing I didn't do.
I saw that some of your family did, so I was
Mhm.
wondering if you were there. I heard it was a little
No.
underwhelming, more underwhelming
Pisa?
than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Leaning Tower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Leaning Tower.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't go see it. We were
Wow.
an hour from Pisa, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
And so we did everything in Florence, and then on the day that they went to Pisa, we did
Uh-huh.
Siena, which is
Oh,
another
yeah.
town.
Yeah.
And Siena was 30 minutes, and Pisa was an hour.
Yeah.
So we just went to Siena.
That's
But it was so fun.
though.
And we ran into some people from West Monroe.
No.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I feel
Tony
like that
Bacon.
always happens.
Because she was getting married.
Her daughter. Don't need to talk about this on the podcast, but we did run into people from West Monroe, which is so
That
funny.
is crazy.
On the
What
street.
a
We were
small
just walking
world.
into a store. We were What in the world? It was crazy.
It's so
That
weird when you see people
actually
like
is
across
nuts.
the
I know.
country or across the world that you know. It's like, what? My family, we were in Disney World when I was little, and we ran into multiple families that we knew. In which, I mean, I guess Disney World's not that crazy, but it's like, how are we all here at the same time and running into each other at the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
ride? Like,
Mhm.
the world really is so small.
It's
That's so true.
crazy.
And I feel like literally so many people went to Italy this summer, and at the same
I agree.
time,
I saw it.
when y'all were there, I'm not kidding, I counted 5 different groups of people that I knew that were in Italy.
It was
somewhere in
crazy.
Italy. I was
I
like,
know.
what
I
in the
know.
world?
I was wondering if it's like, you know, when they say when you buy a new car, you see that car a lot more often. I was like, maybe
That's
it's because
true,
my friends are in
you know,
Italy. I'm
you just
noticing.
notice it more.
But then I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
No,
This many
everyone
this
just
many
blamed
people
it,
are not always in
actually.
Italy.
Well,
But
also, like, a lot of people are saying travel is, like, just getting back to
normal.
after
Yeah.
COVID. And,
Yep.
like, people haven't traveled in a long time. And so now, like, people are
yeah.
itching to go, like, out of the country and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do think that could play a factor into it. I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
so true. And some people, like, I know Olivia had, like, her family rescheduled their trip from COVID,
Mhm.
and now they're, like, finally getting to go on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But speaking of trips, me and Lydia are going up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
And we have been so excited about this.
we haven't been since 2020.
No, we haven't been since COVID, like
Mhm.
right when everything was happening. And so it's literally a girls' trip. We're going with a few of our friends.
Yeah.
And we're so excited. But literally last week, I think it was, I looked on the news, and I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but there was a landslide
Mhm.
on one of the
I
main
saw
roads.
that.
Yeah, one of the main roads. And I was literally going on Google Maps, like trying to figure out
Is this
how
gonna
much
get
it
in
would
our way?
That's terrible. That should not have been my concern. I should have been like, now I do know no one was hurt,
Yeah.
and the construction crew, everyone was fine. But my second thought was, how much is this going to affect us when we're up there?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the craziest
I
thing.
saw
on
that
one of the
they've
main
already,
passes.
yeah, they've already had to get a bunch of like other plans in action because a lot of the workers
Oh.
in Jackson Hole apparently live on the other side of that
No
landslide,
way.
and so they're like having to take all these detours, and it's like, I mean, it is crazy.
Y'all are
That
gonna have the
is-
best time.
I
though.
know.
Oh, I'm so
I love
excited.
Jackson Hole.
I do too.
I do too.
Y'all have to bike ride.
We do love to bike ride in Jackson Hole, but I don't know if we're going to do it this time.
We're really balling on a budget.
We're really balling
on
the
this
budget here,
trip.
Bella. Look, this is our husbands are letting us go on this trip, but look, we're making it. They're
We're
letting us go
making
because
it
we're
work.
making it work
We're
on a
driving.
budget.
We're driving
We're
from
driving
Monroe.
23 hours.
You've done the drive
Jackson
before,
Hole.
haven't you?
We've driven before. Me and
Yeah.
Summer drove one time.
I've
and
only ever flown.
it is the most fun trip. I mean, when you're
Mhm.
with the right people, I think a
Yes.
road trip like that is so fun.
It's so true. It
So, I
doesn't
mean,
I've
even
never
feel
done
like
a road trip that
it's
far.
long now.
I've never
Don't
done
get me
that.
wrong, and it's boring, and you got to stay awake.
But your people make it better.
Yes, it
Your
is fun.
people
It's
do
a
make it
part of
better.
the trip. Like if you have that mentality, it's a fun part of the
Right.
trip.
Yeah. But we're
I'd
excited.
never I'd never ridden a bike before I went to Jackson
No.
Hole.
What?
No.
Yes.
In your life?
Never. I just never did it. Never rode bikes.
I feel like
before.
I'm learning so
So
much.
we get there. We get there, and my mom booked us a 17-mile bike ride.
Yes. Through the park.
And I was like, how are we gonna do this?
And
I
the
guess I'm
park's
just gonna
hard.
do
Yeah,
it.
you're
the
like-
park, they make it
Was
look
it a
easy.
park? I don't know.
well,
if
in Grand Teton.
Yeah, Grand Teton.
Mhm.
and it was so gorgeous. Well, I had like one of those e-bikes, so it was like helping
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
But I did have one like big crash, scraped up my
Oh.
whole leg and arm and everything. But
Oh, yeah.
Wow, the
It's
e-bike
okay.
probably was.
It was
good.
the best
e-bike
experience.
is good. Me and my
We had to
husband
push.
e-biked. Yeah, the regular bikes are no joke at the park. But
When the
me and my
hills come.
husband e-biked in the winter of last year when we went for our honeymoon, and I know people thought we were literally crazy because no one else was on this trail, and it was snowing everywhere. But I wanted him to see this lake, and so I was like, we'll just get e-bikes. We don't really have to put much effort into it. Didn't think about how cold my hands would get. My hands were numb. I was having to stop every 5 minutes for him to warm my hands up.
I bet in the winter.
But yeah, it was a lot. But anyway, we're excited. I think we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But what we're really here today to talk about is Ella Worship's new single, Followers, that
Oh, yeah.
releases on Friday, June 21st. And Lydia here.
So that's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
When this podcast is coming out, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Lydia
I know.
is leading us in the song. So I want you to share a little bit of the heart behind Followers and what it means to you. And just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there when they wrote the song. So the group who wrote the song was Reeves, my husband, and then Mitch Wong, Mark Schoolmeister, Kaylee Coates. I was about to say Kaylee Mayo, Kaylee Chittima. I think that's it. If I'm missing anyone, I really apologize. But I think that was the group that was there when this song was written.
Yeah.
And Reeves, when we went to dinner that night and he played me all like the songs they'd written, the demos that they'd recorded at the house that day. And he played all of them for me, and they were all amazing. But Followers was just different than the other ones, and it was so much like fun. It's just such a fun song.
Yes.
And normally Reeves doesn't love like the more fun songs, but this one, like, everyone was just like, this is what we all need to hear, because the whole, like, the purpose of the song and the message behind the song is, I mean, it's, I don't care if I don't have like followers of this world, as long as I'm following you, Jesus. Like, it's all about you, Jesus. And it's in a very fun way that's said. But so I wasn't there when they wrote it, but to me, when I heard it, it just made me think of the Great Commission, honestly, like, which I feel like is pretty, I mean, I don't know. That's just what it makes me think of, because it's our commission. Like, we are all called to go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I've commanded you, and remember, I'm with you always until the end of the age. And I feel like in my life, like, the concept of followers didn't become what it is now until I truly took that commission as a calling on my life as well, you know? Like, I've heard it my whole life, but the fact that that is a calling on all of our lives, you know what I mean? Like, I think I used to think, well, I want to post on social media because I want to be seen. Like, I want people to look up to me. And then even in like life in general, like, I want people to look at me because like I'm some person they want to like be friends with, or I'm this or I'm that. When in reality, as believers, like, our calling on our life is to go and make disciples of all nations. Like, and to go and make disciples means to go and bring, like, who we're following is who they should like see, and that's who they should go to follow as well. It's not about me, but it's about who I'm following, you know? And which that's like the book Sadie wrote too, like, who are we following? Because if we're following Jesus, then that's what people should see in us, and nothing else should matter. Like, our calling is to make disciples, and that ultimately means like make more followers of Jesus Christ through our following him. Like, that's what it's all about. That's what this life here on earth is all about, you know? And it also, another verse that makes me think of is the one I'm not very good with where they're at. It's in Matthew, but it says, whoever wants to be my disciple will take up their cross daily, pretty much, you know? And that makes me think of it too, because it's like, yes, like, maybe when you follow Jesus wholeheartedly, you might lose things here on this earth. Like, maybe you'll lose followers, like actual literal followers, because of the culture we live in. Like, social media is such a big thing. And so maybe if I use my social media account to glorify the name of Jesus, maybe people will unfollow me because they don't like that, because it makes them uncomfortable. But like, that's a part of the deal. Like, that's okay, because like, I'm following what the Lord has called me to do. It's okay if I lose followers here on this earth, because I'm bringing more along with me to follow who I'm following, you know?
I love that.
I kind of went all around there, but I hope that made sense.
I love that. I feel like everything you just said just sums up all of what Followers is about, truly.
And it's such a fun song, and that's so serious, but it makes it into like a fun jam of like this, like, I don't care, like, if I lose followers, I don't care about these things as long as I'm following you, Jesus.
I love that. That's so good. And when we first heard the song, I just remember being like, this is the perfect song for the summer, and it's just perfect timing for it coming out, and you crushed it on the song, so I can't wait for everyone to hear that.
It's so fun.
Okay, so Bella, one thing I wanted to ask you, just knowing a little bit of your story, I feel like you could speak into this so well, is how has the desire for followers shaped you in your life, and what are some wins you've experienced with overcoming social media struggles?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big question. I feel like, I mean, I've been on Instagram. I got my Instagram account when I was 9, which is so crazy. But I've been public on Instagram since I was like 12, 13-ish. And the day that I went public, I had 200,000 followers.
Wow.
So my life really like changed really fast, and I was like so young, you know. So I feel like I didn't really deal with like the desire for followers when I was younger. I just kind of like loved doing Instagram. It was fun for me. And I won't say that like the desire for followers like shaped my life, but it did like almost break me. I feel like at one point, like, I was going on this path of just like, it was all fun and games and everything, and then it got really real and really serious. Felt like it was like, you know, it was my job, it was my, you know, everything, and negative comments and all the things just started getting to me more and more, and I just like had to decide, like, I'm just not going to like give my life away to this social media platform
Yeah.
anymore. And I used to be so honest on social media. I used to share everything about my life. And I just realized, like, that's just not going to work for me anymore.
Yeah.
And I really had to, like, make a shift. And honestly, like, when I made that shift and stopped sharing everything about my life and just made that decision to, like, be more private, I lost, like, 50,000 followers. So, like, when we're talking, like, losing followers, like, I lost a lot of followers. I lost, like, 50 to 70,000 followers in like, the course of, like, a year or two. So, it was, like, a crazy shift of, like, I had this many followers and now I have this many followers. And honestly, it really didn't matter to me because I knew that, like, I was doing what was best for me and for my life. I knew that, like, if I kept going on the path of just, like, wanting more followers and, like, keeping up with everybody else and, like, making sure I'm posting more and, like, fitting with the algorithm and making sure the algorithm is, like, supporting me and I'm supporting the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. And doing that was, like, slowly just, like, eating at me. And I knew that. And I knew that, like, if I didn't make a change, then, like, I would really, like, not be in a good place. So I just made that shift. I was just like, I'm just not going to share as much anymore. And, like, I used to post, you know, stories and stories and stories every day. And now I still pop in on Instagram and I do what I can, but I just, like, don't give my life away to social media anymore. And, like, honestly, like, moving away from working on social media and moving into, like, having a full-time job and working normal hours and, like, living a normal life is, like, before it was, like, I felt like my life was, like, given to social media 24 hours of the day, all day, every day, because when I was home, I could still get on there. If I was, you know, working, I was still on there. It was just, like, never a break from it. It was so stressful for me. And I don't want to say everything's bad about social media because I have so many friends who do so well at it and don't feel this way. But for me, it was, like, really eating at me and really a struggle for me. And, like, my mental health and everything was just, like, not good from having all that. So I just kind of, like, stepped away and was like, I'm not going to, like, give myself to this anymore. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And if it costs me followers, then, like, whatever. I'm just going to stay on my path and, like, not worry about what everyone else thinks about me. So yeah, I lost a lot of followers, but I don't regret it at all. I love having a more private life, and I love all my friends who do social media, and I'm glad that it works for them. And maybe it'll work for me in another time of life, but, like, I know that my mental health and my, like, ability to be, like, the person I want to be is super affected by feeling like I have to be this certain person on social media. I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
it does.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, that's so good. And I'm so glad that you shared all that because there's probably so many people listening that do struggle with social media, consuming them. And that is the culture we live in today. Like, feeling like you have to be this way on social media. You have to look perfect. You have to do this. And then if you're not, you're comparing yourself to the girl that's on your Instagram feed or whatever
and
feed.
Everything goes back to, like, thinking, like, even when you're on, like, a trip, it's like, I gotta get the perfect post for the perfect,
so true.
Like, so I can post this so that everyone sees where I'm at and they can, like, you know, everything goes back to social media in our generation.
Even more, I feel like, too, in the church world and Christian world of things, it's like being a Christian influencer. Sometimes it feels like everything has to be meaningful. Every single post has to have this message that's going to speak to someone, and every single story has to be uplifting. And I'm not saying that, you know, we should be flippant with our social medias by any means, but I do think that, like, when we're held to that standard that, like, everything we do has to have meaning and everything has to, like, help others, it's like we get into that mindset of, like, I'm always have to be on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially social media, it never goes away. It doesn't, you know, you don't clock out of social media. You don't get to leave at the end of the day. Like, you don't get to do that. And so for that reason, I think it should be a place where we can, you know, just be where we're at, you know, wherever we are in life, we can be there. And I think if I had to tell anybody anything with, like, social media or anyone who's struggling with that, I think I just would tell them, like, you can step back. Like, you don't, and I'm not saying you can give up, but, like, you can step back from social media. Like, you don't have to want to start to be an influencer. It doesn't mean you can, like, you have to be that forever. Like, if you're, like, having the best algorithm right now, if you're getting all the views and all the likes and everything, and the algorithm is working for you, but it's not working for you on your heart, then, like, you can step away. And I think that that's something that I used to really struggle with is, like, oh, well, like my likes are up right now, so I got to keep posting, make sure I stay up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I don't post for a week, then I'm going to fall down on the algorithm or whatever. It's crazy. It sounds crazy talking about it, but it's true. That's how it works. And so I just feel like if I had to tell anyone something, it would just be like, you can step back if you need to. Like, listen to your heart, listen to like where, listen to the people around you, what they're seeing in you, and just like step back if you need to.
Yeah.
I love that. That
I do
is
too.
such good advice. And I love even ending on that note because I feel like that just wrapped it up so well. So
Yeah.
would you mind praying over us and the girls listening as they go about their day?
Absolutely. Dear God, I just thank you so much for this podcast and what we're doing here today. I pray that it would just continue to be a light to all the girls that are just looking for wholesome conversation and other friends to lift them towards you and tilt them towards heaven. I pray that this podcast continues to do that, and every episode that comes out, I pray that it's the trendy conversations that we have and the fun conversations that we have will help girls learn that you can have wholesome conversations with your friends, and you can really lean on your friends to do in the fun times and in the hard times. I pray that that would be evident in our lives, in our daily lives, and on our social medias too, that you can point people to Jesus, whether it's in a casual conversation or whether it's in a deeper conversation. I pray that every girl listening knows how loved they are by you, and I pray that this year and in the weeks to come that they would just meet other girls that would help support them in their journey towards you. And I just pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.